even though it might sound like a basic question, but people usually ask how outsourcing works.
Yeah, and so I think that this is one of those things to demystify how difficult it might seem from the outside. So I'm always speaking from the perspective as a North American CEO looking at talent overseas. And overseas could be to Latin America, that could be to Africa, that could be to Asia, like where you live. And so I think one of the parts that has to be demystified is that it is exactly the same talent acquisition or recruiting process as you have onshore. There is no difference. And I think that that's where we all get so confused. Like, number one, you analyze, I have a talent gap. And that talent gap might be because somebody left your organization. It might be because you need to expand. You need to create capacity. You say to yourself, I need more human capital. Great. Next, what do I need them to do? It could be, again, part-time, full-time, contract, draw against commission. There is endless ways to structure an employment agreement. And so us as North Americans, sometimes we default to full-time. That is not necessarily the case with outsourcing. But now you need to have a strategy to attract talent. Talent doesn't just flock to you because you're North American. You have to have a compelling reason why people want to work with you. You've got fun projects, great customers, perks, benefits, and sweeteners. You've created a safe environment that's secure. You have to have an acquisition strategy. Then you need to acquire, and you have to have a filtering process. No different than you would use in North America, although you may test for certain things such as language competency. And then you have an onboarding process. And that onboarding process, you were going to onboard new hires onshore anyways. You have to do it offshore. So I think where people get all flustered is they think it is somehow different. It is a process that you've designed onshore that has nuances that are specific to offshore, or you can call it offshoring or outsourcing. These are just nuanced details within a structured process. How about you? From your perspective, what do you see?
Yeah. So to summarize exactly what you just said, is kind of doing exactly what you would have done in-house, but you just do it outside the company. And because that's what outsourcing means, right? Not doing it inside the company, outsourcing. But over the time, what has happened is like we have related out the word outsourcing with giving the work to another company or another person who doesn't live in the same country. So offshoring is basically exactly the same thing, just not doing in-house. That's what I would say. Even though it's very much related with what you just mentioned, I think you mentioned kind of the exact steps, like step number one, this, and then do this and do that.
So let me come back to an idea. You said something that was important that I didn't touch on.
Yeah.
If you think about outsourcing, the optionality expands as myself as a founder and CEO. To your point, you just said something working in a company versus out. A lot of times here in North America, we typically think, okay, I need help. I hire a person. They come in-house, employed in my business. That comes with tax and benefit regulations. You need to file specific taxes. You need to have unemployment insurance and so forth. But in fact, when you just talked about outsourcing, let's look at the optionality. I can have somebody come in full-time, part-time, fractional. They could be paid per performance.
Yeah.
They could be draw against commission.
Yeah.
They themselves could be their own business, meaning they are a full contractor. Mm-hmm. They are a part of an agency that supports me. Like, look at your marketing agency that you own. If you really think about it, day to day, when you and I work together at Pipeline Signals, get Levrg, you're one of the team. Mm-hmm. You are an extension and as part of the team. Yet, just the operating agreement is different. You own an agency. That agency employs teammates mm-hmm. to execute projects and initiatives. There's defined milestones and goals that we need to achieve. So they don't have to be full-time employees. You are now taking, basically, you've overtaken a headache or a problem or an initiative. And I just said, my goal is to go from A to B. I give it to your marketing
Yeah.
agency, and your marketing agency runs with it. That's another form of outsourcing. Outsourcing, if you really think about it from the framework of a founder, it's taking competencies, skills, initiatives, projects that you may not even have the ability to do in-house, and you say to yourself, I'm just going to find somebody to do it. It just happens that that team or person lives overseas. That's all. Yeah.
Lovely.
So
Okay.
sorry, I wanted to
Yeah, no, this is
clarify
good. This
that.
is good. This is exactly what we want, right? The questions people usually ask, we want to go as deep as possible so that we actually answer the question that they have in mind. They don't have to watch another video to get the answers.